Hello, everyone, and welcome to our webinar all about advocacy. Thank you so much for being in and being with us today. We are very happy to be able to connect with you virtually. And personally, I'm very excited to be part of this webinar hosted by Alexander Magnussen today. My name is Jackie Edwards, and I'm the Employment Manager at CBI Consultants. And I'll be providing our introduction before Alexander begins his piece today. So what are we going to cover today? Well, this is the question. So what is advocacy? This is what Alexander is going to discuss. What is a self-advocate? Why is advocating for yourself important? How to advocate for yourself? Who can support you to advocate? And where to get resources? And following this, we're going to have a quick question and answer period. To provide a little more background about CBI Consultants and our company, I'd just like to quickly share that CBI has 30 years experience supporting more than 10,000 individuals with multiple barriers to achieve inclusive lives in home, school, and community environments. Our approach, the Lifestyle Development Process, also called the LDP for short, has been published twice as a research exemplar of person-centered evidence-based practice that is grounded on strengths-based profiles, customized employment, systematic instruction, and positive behavior support. CBI Consultants' mission is to improve the quality of life of people worldwide. So I think it's important to note here that what we believe in, and we believe that all citizens have the right to be included in communities, to have rich social lives, to live in the homes of their choosing, and to have real work for real pay opportunities. We are committed to the vision of full inclusion for persons with disabilities. To achieve our vision and deliver the highest quality of service to people worldwide in autism intervention, customized employment, and positive behavior support, we are also committed to evidence-based best practices, excellence in all aspects of our operations, and innovation and constant evaluation and improvement. All right, and so what does CBI do? In essence, we are a training and technical assistance center. So we are able to, we have the capability and resources to provide training and consultation and knowledge transfer in a virtual way, which is, I actually personally love that piece of CBI and how we use technology to support people, not just here where we're located, but also across Canada and worldwide. We provide consultation, so we do specialize in positive behavior support, so that can involve transition planning, individualized customized employment, developing peer relationships, social networking, and family lifestyle planning. And we are also involved in research. So we participate in literature reviews, we've been published, and we're currently working on new publishing activities at this time. We write briefs for agencies and government entities, and we're very active in that area as well. In terms of where are we located, this is just a very quick visual to show you where our head office is. Although I'd like to say that while we are located in Burnaby, we provide services throughout BC, as well as extending to Canada and internationally as well. So a little bit here before we move forward to Alexander's piece on self-advocacy. I just wanted to give a text, and that's to talk a little bit about self-determination and the self-determination and customized employment history and milestones at CBI Consultants. So in a nutshell, self-determination, the course that we have created, was born several years ago when we realized that although our customized employment program yielded high success rates in terms of placements, individuals were not necessarily acquiring the self-determination skills during that program. So when employment came to an end, for whatever reason, you know, somebody moved, or they decided they don't want to work there anymore, etc. There's lots of reasons life happens. CBI would get a call asking if we could support in finding another job, which is great, which we're there to do. But we realized that it was also really important to focus on teaching skills related to job seeking. So that would begin with self-directed discovery. So that would support individuals in having more agency in the delivery of the service. So the self-determination curriculum, we now call it a course, has gone through several iterations over the years, but is to its purpose, which is to be a resource for individuals and their support network in learning skills related to self-advocacy, self-awareness, goal setting, and problem solving. And I'm excited to let you all know that we're currently in the final phase of redesigning the course, which also aligned with the core competencies of the new BC curriculum. And here, I'd just like to read out this quote, which I think kind of sums up self-determination, although it's a huge concept. There's a lot of research involved in that. I just love this quote, that a self-determined person is one who sets goals, makes decisions, sees options, solves problems, speaks up for him or herself, understands what supports are needed for success, and knows how to evaluate outcomes. And this is really where Alexander is going to speak further about self-determination, self-advocacy, how that's impacted his life. But to also introduce our team, who Alexander is part of, and we're so glad that he's joined us, we have of employment specialists who come from a variety of backgrounds and expertise in different levels, from working in education or behavior intervention or psychology and counseling. And I think I just like a quick shout out for our team, because they've been navigating the COVID pandemic so well and supporting our folks that we support virtually in really innovative and creative ways, in particular providing employment skills development and social online through Zoom. So thank you again to our team for all the hard work that you do, and I'm really happy that we were able to connect doing this virtually as well. All right, and before I pass my virtual mic over to Alexander, I again just wanted to read off our mission statement at CBI. As I said before, our mission is to improve the quality of life of people worldwide. We truly believe that all citizens have the right to fully inclusive and access to fulfilling work for real pay. So inclusion is what we believe in. And to achieve our vision, we are committed to evidence-based best practices, excellence in all aspects of our operation, and constant evaluation, improvement, and innovation. And so with that being said, I will pass our virtual mic over to my learned colleague, Alexander Magnussen.
Hello, everyone. Welcome. Thank you for being here. Okay, so 17 years ago, I was a client of CBI's. I remember when they came to my house in Port Alberni, they were talking a lot about what were my strengths, and they made lists of like what my strengths were, what my dreams were, what my passions were, which was very hard to figure out, because I was never asked that. I was never asked, people don't come to your house, professionals don't come to your house when you need help and ask what your strengths are. They go, what is he doing wrong and how do we fix it? So this was quite different for me. I had no expectations, but it exceeded any expectations I might have had. Because I was only like 14, 15, 16, something like that at the time. I had no idea what person-centered meant. I had no idea what advocacy meant. I had no idea what any of that meant. I just, okay, another professional's coming over and going to tell me what to do and tell my parents what to do, and that's what it was going to be. So again, it was so person-centered, it blew me away. Now, and it talked about my strengths, which again was very different for me. I remember in school they would have this book. It was like a communication book between my parents and the teachers, and it would, Alex did this wrong, this wrong, this wrong, this wrong, disruptive, whatever. And that was none of that. There was no negative at all. So that was very nice. And the two people that came to my house, they still work for CBI today, which is very nice that I get to see them. Well, now because of obviously the pandemic, a little less often, obviously, but they're wonderful. So now what I do, well, partly what I do is I help other self-advocates advocate for themselves, and give advice on how to achieve their hopes and dreams, and to think about their hopes and dreams, and help support that they can make dreams, and they can fulfill their dreams. Right now, like I said, I'm currently working at CBI Consultings. I'm currently supporting with social media, supporting the Teamworks groups, and I help generate new initiative ideas. I currently live in White Rock, BC, in my own home. I'm originally from, like I said, Vancouver Island. I grew up on a farm. I enjoy going to the gym, hanging out with my friends, not as often, of course, with the pandemic. And currently, I buy a lot of things on Amazon, which I quite enjoy. Okay, advocacy. Public support or recommendation of particular cause or policy. The profession or work of legal advocate. That is the basic definition in the dictionary. We interpret this a bit differently. Let's check out how advocacy is used on a daily. So this is how I interpret it, what advocacy is. It's basically standing up for something that you believe in. In this picture, you will see people with signs holding up. Maybe this is a rally for equal rights. Maybe it's a rally for equal pay for real work, equality in the workforce, Black Lives Matter, women's rights, all sorts of things that people advocate for. I remember when I was living in Burnaby at the time, very close to Metrotown Mall. I went to Metrotown and with a bunch of resumes. I probably made about 100 copies of my resume, and then I probably, because what I did was I went to store to store to store handing out resumes. Here's a resume. Especially if they were, they had said hiring on the door, I would be like, okay, I'll definitely, here's my resume. And so I did that, and it took me like 4 hours to go to like each store. It took so long, and I was so excited thinking, okay, well, maybe this is my dream job. Maybe this is my dream job. Maybe I will finally be able to work at Metrotown, because I go to Metrotown now pandemic. I used to go to Metrotown all the time. And I love Metrotown, so I figured working at Metrotown, I get paid to do something that I love, being at Metrotown. So long story short, I didn't get any callbacks, not even from the stores that were hiring on the door. I felt so defeated. I felt so like just in shock that nobody called me back. I was thinking maybe I, of course you get all that self-doubt. Maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe I'm not smart enough. Maybe I'm not qualified. Maybe they saw that I wasn't qualified. So years later, actually, to be honest, I went to a customized employment agency and for help. And that was me advocating for myself. Again, self-advocacy. What is self-advocacy? Self-advocacy, the actions of representing oneself or one's view of interest. So that's, again, that's the dictionary version. All right, so one of the ways that I was self-advocating for myself was when I did meet my job coach, they really got to know me. They got to know my strengths and what I was passionate about. And then obviously my previous work experience, which was not much. What I did do as my previous work experience before this was at school, I would fill up the vending machines. And I was very fast and efficient and strong and able to carry many of the plates of, or not plates, pallets of soda. So I was very strong, fast, and efficient, and I was able to organize them in a fast and efficient way. So they figured that they had a vineyard that needed staff. So I was like, okay, I will try that. And I worked at the vineyard for 2 years. Some of my jobs were collecting apples, trimming the grapes, getting the grapes off the vines, wrapping the grapes in netting. And I actually got promoted because I was doing such a great job of putting the apples, especially my favorite was putting the apples in the individual in the right categories. Like there was a category for the bad apples that go in this bucket, the good apples go in this bucket, and then the not so great apples go in another bucket. So which was I thought was always kind of cool, is that they kind of go by weight. And so you carry about 80 to 90 pounds of apples in both buckets, in both hands, and then you would transfer it to a really big bucket, whatever the good, bad, or not so good. And then they would the bad ones went to make jams, and the not so great ones went to something else that I forget, and then one that I think the good apples went to like pies or something like that. So they all had a use, which was really great. There was no wastage. Cider. There was also apple cider too. That was really good. So I would take the handy dart there, and I worked about I think twice. It was years ago, but I believe I worked about twice a week. And it was really great. And my promotion, I got to handle the horses, brush the horses, muck out their stalls. I remember mowing the lawns. I've done that. That was fun. It was very nice physical labor, which I enjoyed. I did not enjoy the fear of snakes, though. That was very scary to me. All right. All right. What is a self-advocate? I want to give, so you want to brainstorm. First of all, you want to brainstorm your hopes and dreams. So one of my dreams was to live on my own. So I had to brainstorm, do I want to live on my own? Can I live on my own? Should I live on my own? Will I be lonely if I live on my own? Will I not like it after 6 months? And all that. My answer to all those was, yes, I want to live on my own. That was my ultimate. It was an absolute yes. So then I had to tell people, I want to live on my own. So I told everyone that would listen, even people that weren't like, well, you know, maybe you shouldn't live on your own yet, or maybe a roommate would be better, or, you know, all this what ifs. And I was like, no, no, no. And then you got to speak up for your rights and go, no, actually, I really want to live on my own. I have the right to that opportunity. Standing up. And then as I was just saying, I had to stand up for myself. I had to say, yeah, no, I know I can do it. I need to gain the skills to learn how to do it, but I know I can do it. And after 22 living situations, I finally have my own home. Now, why is self-advocacy so important? Well, because only you know what you want, only you know your hopes and dreams, and you know yourself best. Here's an example. My previous home share, well, one of many previous home share providers, got me a job at a recycling plant. I have very sensitive hearing, very sensitive nose, and sensitive to touch. So this one was way too loud. It smelled horrible, and you had to touch all the gross bottles and cans. My job was to take the cans and bottles from the stores and separate them all and organize them. It was very messy. It was very messy. I repeat, and it smelled bad, and you had to do it very fast and very efficient. And no one spoke English either. So when they did speak English, I knew that they were talking to me. But when they didn't speak English, then I knew they weren't talking to me. I just was wondering if they were talking about me. I don't know. But yeah, that is always. Is that better? Sorry, guys. I think I was on mute. Okay, sorry about that, everybody. You know, with Zoom technical difficulties at times. Okay, all right. Okay, all right, we're good. So my job, like I said, my job was to organize the ones from the store, and there was about 10 to 12 big sacks of recycling. My job was in one day, 8 hours, was to get all 12 sacks empty. I got 6 done, and I thought I did great because I didn't know, because there was a huge language barrier that I had to get all 12 done. I thought I was doing really great when I got 6 done. It took all 12 hours, or all 8 hours to get 6 done. I remember it was like, took forever. Like there was like, I think I took like a 10-minute break for lunch, and then I just went back at it because I was just like, I gotta get it done, gotta get it done. And so I didn't get it all done because you had to have all 12 done. And they're like, no, 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 that's not good, that's not good. I was like, what? And then so then I tried another job within the plant, and you had to count, and then you had to multiply it by whatever, and my math skills, especially back then, were not good. So that was not a job for me. Anyways, long story short, again, you need to advocate for yourself if things are not working out. Could you imagine staying at a job that I was not successful at, that people were getting to having to do my job for me because I was not able to do it all? But I did learn a valuable lesson. I learned that I appreciate the people that work there. They do a really great job. They take a lot of pride in their work. I was very impressed of, at the end of the day, like they clean it like top to bottom, and I was very impressed with that. And I also learned a very, very, very valuable lesson, that the job was not for me. So I lasted 1.5 days because I knew that it was not for me. And a lot of people stay at their work miserable for years and years and years. And I just say, like, you got to advocate for yourself. You got to If something's not working for you, express that. Don't just hide it in, because years later, I now have two jobs that I absolutely love. And without trying, if I stuck with that job, I might have not have time for the two jobs that I have right now. So, and I would have missed out on great opportunities. So always, if something's not working, speak up for yourself. All right. You got to have a vision and you have to have a plan. So I always knew, and I always had a vision for myself, that I would drive a car one day. I had no idea how I was going to drive it, how I was going to learn how to drive it, what the rules of the road were, or anything. So I had a plan. My plan was to read the practice test manual multiple times, and whenever I was out, I would always ask questions to the driver of like, okay, well, how fast do you go? How do you know how fast you're going? How do you stop it properly? How do you stop it without like jamming on the brakes so much that you do the woo, you know? So it was all those questions, and what does that light mean, and all that stuff. And then I also took practice tests online, and I made sure that before I went for my practice test, I would get 100% most of the time. So then I would have a higher probability of passing for the first time, because I did not want to deal with the defeat of not passing the first time. So I made sure that I studied every day. Every day I studied. And then when I went for my learner's test, waiting in line, I did the practice test online again on my phone, again and again and again, to make sure that when I got up to the thing, I knew the answers, and I passed the first time. So that was a huge relief for me. But then a new challenge. It was, how do I get my N now? And it was such a goal for me. So what I did was I hired a professional driver, and I had about 7 or 8 lessons, and I can parallel park, and I can back in parking as well, which you have to do obviously for your test, but I can do it. I'm so proud. And then I needed obviously a car to practice on when I was not practicing with the driver, the professional driver. So I used my sister's car, and she was nice enough to trust me with her car, which is a huge trust when you know, it's a big machine. And so we went to Nanaimo, and I passed the first time, and that was so amazing. You know, having autism, there's extra barriers, or having any disability of any kind can be an extra barrier. And it's also very easy to say, no, I can't do it. I have autism. I can't do that. Well, I really wanted to show myself, yeah, you can do it. Just because you have autism doesn't mean anything. If you have if you do all the steps that everyone else does, you deserve your license. If you do all the work, you got it. You can do it. So I did it. And even if the goal seems, like I said, super overwhelming, like hard, like there's no way you can do it, why not? You got to have a vision, and you got to have a plan, and you can do it. So some tools that I used on what helped me, especially for my driving and living alone, is I wanted to plan. So I had calendars on my phone. I use my phone for everything. I think a lot of people use their phone for a lot of different things. So a big one for me was my calendar app. It was on the front of my phone, so I made sure that it was the first thing that I've seen when I unlocked my phone. I put reminders on in my phone, and I also put motivating pictures. Like I put pictures of cars I wanted, like, and then I had to figure out what kind of cars do I want? Do I want a manual? That's a whole nother thing to learn. Or an automatic? What kind of car? I figured out I either want a Toyota Matrix or a Mazda 2 or a Mazda 5. It's like a mini minivan. Let me just plug in my phone. Sorry about that. One didn't die. The computer, not me. So yes, I had motivating pictures to make sure that I was kept with my goal. And what I did was I did 6 months from now, I will get my L. So I had 6 months to practice. And then I went when I got my L, I did, okay, 3 months until my N test. So I did everything possible to learn everything I could to get my N. And I got it again, like I said, the first time. Next slide, please. Thank you so much. Okay. What are your rights? First of all, you need to learn your rights, because that way you'll be able to stand up for yourself and really know what are my rights. It's very important to learn your rights. Okay, here are your rights. You have the right to be respected as an individual. You have a right to learn, to get access to information and about your legal rights and freedoms. You have the right of freedom of speech. You have the right to vote. You have the right to live the way each person wants. You have the right to your personal information kept private and confidential. The right to paid jobs, equal pay for equal work. And you have the right to be self-employed. The right to an education. The right to be treated as an equal in society without being labeled. The right to relationships, family, friends, even marriage. You have the right to medical information. You have the right to be safe. You have the right to be respected as an individual. You have the right to have better physical access to services in the community, i.e. meaning ramps and all that kind of elevators and all that kind of stuff. You have the right to not be taken advantage about with anyone let me repeat that. The right not to be taken advantage of by anyone. You have the right to your own opinions, which a lot of people don't think they have, but they have a lot of rights. And a lot of rights. I got all these rights in plain language from selfadvocate.net. It is an extremely great resource website that has all sorts of your rights, all sorts of links, all sorts of avenues for everything you would want to know about self-advocacy and being a self-advocate. And the cool thing is that with selfadvocate.net.com, it is made by self-advocates for other self-advocates. Very good resource. So, who can support you? Your family. My family was very motivating. They gave me ideas and helped me think about logistics of how to get my dreams and goals accomplished. My friends, they were a really great motivator. I know, like, I think I said my friend Megan, she has kids, she has a wonderful partner, and she knows how to drive, and she does all the things that that I wanted to do. So I really was very motivated by her, and she's been my best friend since we met in kindergarten. Grade 3, we became best friends though. Support workers. I had a lot of support workers in my life, and they helped me with follow through, how to get bills paid, how to clean my house, how to learn how to do laundry, how to cook, as well as my family. My teachers and counselors, they help me with the actual work experience. They all work together. If you notice me saying motivation, help me with my family, my friends, they all kind of help each other like a big team. We often have a social network that we can reach out to when trying to advocate for ourselves. And it's important that they talk to each other as well as you, so then everyone's on the same page and everyone can help out the best they can. If we think about getting a job, we might talk to our family and friends about jobs we are looking for. They might be huge motivators to push us to apply. I know my family and friends and support workers were very great at motivating me about getting a job, keeping jobs, they're just so great. If we tap into an employment agency, we will support specific things of like getting job ready, learning skills to gain employment. Where to get resources? Well, you can get resources at CLBC, Community Living BC. I also work at CLBC. Inclusion BC, I don't work there. I was on the board of CLBC though, or Inclusion BC. Family Support Institute, Justice Access Center, selfadvocate.net. That was the website that I was telling you about that is absolutely fabulous, especially for self-advocates and families. And then for good measure, I put in my TEDx talk. Years ago, I did a TEDx talk. Well, I've done two. This is a link to the first one. Yeah, and then that should give you a link to the second one as well. CBI's resources. Sorry, technical difficulties. CBI's resources. Sorry about that. Thank you for your patience. Here's some links or information about CBI. Check out our website for upcoming webinars like this. There will be more webinars. The slides are also posted there if you want to refer back to them. Our Facebook page, please visit our Facebook page. It is full of great videos and pictures and information. And then we also have a newsletter that shares great stories and give more information about upcoming events. I want to give a huge thank you to everyone that's listening and making it all the way to the end of a webinar. Sometimes it's not easy. Thank you to the support team that has supported me to do this. And thank you, CBI, for giving me the opportunity to do this webinar. All right, it is questions and answers time. I see that there will be some questions. All right, let me read some of the questions. A lot of awesome Alexanders and a lot of well done Alexanders. Thank you very much. Does anyone have any questions they would like to put in the chat? Somebody says, I hope you were going to do more of these things. I was great, And I really have some great insight. Thank you very much who sent that.
Hi, Olivia McNeil here from CBI Consultants as well. I'm seeing in the question and answer, someone would like us to put back the research page again. So I'll just, the resources, excuse me. So I'll just put those up so you can copy them down.
Oh, thank you.
Yes. There we go. All right. And then I'll read another one out to you, Alexander, if you would like. So I have
I
another
see
one.
it. Thank you.
Yeah, and so I have another one here, and it says, did advocating for yourself come easy to you, or did it take some time?
It was not easy for me. I did not know, I had no idea what advocacy was. I had no idea how to do it properly. I had no idea that I wanted to do it. I had no idea why I should do it. Now that I know, I can't imagine a world without advocating for myself. It did take a lot of time, but now I find it pretty easy just to kind of tell people how it is and, do it in a nice way, of course. The next question.
Yes, we have another one here, and it says, what keeps you motivated throughout your journey and gave you the ability to trust your job coach when you first started?
Well, so what kept me motivated was my life. I wanted a good life. I want a good life, just like anyone. I want a good life. And I know that if I don't share my hopes and dreams, then they might not, they might not come true because, like I need support as well, right? So it was and getting goals done was very motivating to me. And what gave me the ability to trust my job coach at first? Well, she really took the time to get to know me. We would go for Tim Hortons, which I love Tim Hortons, so that is definitely a way into my heart. And we spent a good 3, 4, 5 times just talking about my interests and all that. And she was very open to going to Tim Hortons with me. And she was very open to hearing me and really listening to my story. So that gave me a lot of trust in her.
Awesome. And then I'll answer, there's a technical question here. Will we have access to view this again? Yes, this is recorded and posted on our website, cbiconsultants.com. And there also will be a PDF version of the slides as well, if you would like to fill those out with your own personal notes. And then Alexander, for yourself, another question you have here is, what is your next goal for life?
My next goal for life is to become a father. That I've done. I live on my own. I can drive a car. Well, I guess my first one is to get a car, to buy a car. But then my big, big dream is to become a father. I am working on becoming a foster parent, and then I will hopefully foster to adopt. So I'm hoping to see that in my future. I will see that in my future.
Fantastic. And then we have another one here. How are you a more confident person after being your own self-advocate?
More confident person. I guess believing in myself and believing that my voice matters and believing that I can do it. And then also seeing the fruits of my labor, seeing that I got my own apartment. I have 2 wonderful jobs. Why not keep going? So it's just always just keep going for what's the next, okay, cross that off the list. What's the next goal? Cross that off the list. What's the next goal? And seeing results also makes it, builds confidence, of course. Yeah.
Awesome. And then we have another one here. Lots of great questions. This is fantastic.
Yeah, this is great. Thank you so much, everybody.
And so it says, what advice would you give to someone who has advocated for themselves, but no one listened?
Go to the next person. And then go to the next person. And if they don't listen, go to the next person. And if they don't listen, contact me and they better listen. No, but keep going, keep going, and somebody will be like, oh, okay. I had to do the same thing, like some people were like, well, you don't get your own apartment because you live in a group home or whatever. You live in a home share and just stay there. And it's a good idea if you stay there. Or, it's like, well, no, I want to live on my own. So persistent. You have a goal, achieve that goal.
Fantastic.
Just keep asking.
Awesome. And then we have another one. It says, hi, Alex. What do you think are the awesome qualities you look for in a support staff?
The people that genuinely care. And we can tell who genuinely cares and who's in it for, 6 hours and then they're gone and then that's it. And also, like some, obviously be friendly, be open to new ideas, be open to listen to new ideas, and that isn't like just tell me what to do and I'm your support worker and that's what you do is what I tell you. It's what can I do to help you? What can I do to support you? Ask questions, gain knowledge, learn about, I think also learning about, well, in my case, I have autism. So learn a little bit about autism, but also which really helps me is people that, like Temple Grandin. If you don't know her, please Google her. She has autism as well. Giving me great examples of other people with disabilities that are doing great stuff. And there's a ton of people with a ton of different disabilities that are doing amazing stuff. So also those examples work really well too.
Awesome. And then Faison says here, well done. I love that you talked a lot about self-advocacy. Now I know a little bit about self-advocacy as well. So that's a thank you.
Thank you very much for listening.
And then someone else asks, do you do Special Olympics?
I did Special Olympics for years. I've started when I was like 7 or 8 years old with bowling. And then I did baseball for years. I did soccer for even more years. I did hockey for even more years. I did swimming for not that many years. I never did track. I'm not much of a runner unless it's like to get a soccer ball. Yeah.
Great. And then we have another one here. Hi, Alexander. Please tell us about your jobs at CBI and CLBC. How long have you been working at these jobs? They also ask after that one, what supports do you still receive? So we'll start with the first one, your jobs at CBI and CLBC.
So at CBI, I work with the teen program. I will be working with the self-determination program. And I do the social media and yeah, it's very hard to, do, and I do weekly classes as well. I started 3 days before the lockdown, so I did the training sessions as well at the first 2 days. And then with CLBC, I am a strategic initiative advisor, and I work on the research and design team at the head office at CLBC. And I work on different projects that affect the whole province. A couple of the projects are plain languaging, so helping documents become more plain language so it's easier to understand. And I also work on the multiple complex needs project, the inclusive housing project, and the home share project.
Great. And the second part of their question was, what supports do you still receive?
I used to have a lot of supports. I went to a day program for years. I went, I lived in 4 group homes. I've lived in 7 or 8 home shares. Now, currently, I don't actually have any support. Nobody comes and helps me with groceries or helps me with stuff, but I will say that I have a lot of natural supports that really help me more than I'd like to. I'm kind of stubborn. I like to do things on my own. So I've opted out of not having as much support. But I do rely on natural support.
Fantastic. Another two-part question. The first being, what age was your first self-advocacy event?
I was young. Because my mom would always, when I did Special Olympics and stuff like that, she would always, if you can't do something, ask. So it's just small things, right? Like speaking up for yourself if you can't do up your own button, because, asking people to help you. And that in a way is self-advocacy. Asking for help and stuff is self-advocacy. I haven't started, when I was 20, 19 or 20, then I started, because when you turn it into, magic age of 19, you're now an adult. So I had to advocate for myself of where I wanted to live, who I wanted to live with, where I wanted to live, and all of those things. So I was almost pushed into it because, you turn 19 and then then it's like, okay, now you're 19 and an adult. So, but it was great. And I'm glad that I got, my mom helped me at a young age to advocate for myself. So when I did turn 19, it wasn't as much of a, jump in the deep end, you could say. It was more like I got my toes wet and then I jump.
Nice. The second part of that question is, do you believe that all goal setting from your teen years has set the stage for your success?
Absolutely, 100%. Like I said before, if I didn't have the little toe touch in the water and figuring out, little things that I can advocate and little things, then I wouldn't be prepared for the big things. So advocating for yourself at a young age is super important. And yeah.
Great. And then we have another one here. It says, what would you tell youth coming into CLBC to use their voice?
I would tell them to go to welcome workshops. CLBC does welcome workshops. And I would say, I would say, welcome to adulthood. And I would say that, you really are the master of your own life and you decide where you want your life to go. And I know that sounds super overwhelming because that would be very overwhelming for me as a young youth coming into CLBC. But, practice makes perfect. And there's a lot of older self-advocates that in each part of the province that are wonderful self-advocates that can easily and would love to mentor. So, and I have mentors too, like the older self-advocates that are, more experienced than I am, older than I am. I very much take, I ask for advice as much as I give advice.
Great. I think we have, 4 or 5. Oh, there's more coming, but
Awesome.
This one is, you partly answered this, but do you have any tips for someone new to self-advocacy, and what are some small steps I can take to becoming more independent?
Okay, so this depends on who you are. And so new to self-advocacy, I would say have a vision and have a goal and have a plan. And then if I were you, I would decide, okay, who can help me? And I would make a list. Who can help me with, maybe your goal is to go grocery shopping with assistance. Who would that person be to be able to help you to go grocery shopping with assistance? And then once you get really good at that, then be like, I want to be able to learn how to do it on my own. And then, you know, there's something bigger. So you start small, like I want to vacuum my own apartment with support. And then I want to vacuum my own apartment with a little less support. So it's what do you want to do? How do I achieve it? Who can help me with that?
Awesome. Justin, so thank you. Thank you for your confidence, commitment, success, and knowledge. You are aspiring.
Thank you.
And then we have, what is the biggest struggle that you faced and how did you overcome it?
Biggest struggle, probably living on my own. Like I said, I have been a part of 4 group homes, 7 or 8 home shares, and other living situations. But I always had a dream, and I just kept working at it and kept working at it. And it took about 12 years to be able to have my own apartment and successfully keep my own apartment. So I guess that being able to live on my own was the biggest struggle that I overcame.
Great. We have 2 more questions. Please describe your education.
Oh, my education. I don't have much of an education, to be honest. I graduated from high school with 12 years completion. I did not do an over year. I figured 12 years is just enough for me. I did do a course in Beginner 1 Sign Language that I got a 97%, which I'm very proud of. I'm a very visual person, and I've had a lot of, or still have, deaf friends. So being able to communicate with them was a huge motivator. And then, yeah, that's about it of my education.
Awesome. And then there's another question here, which I will answer. It says, when is the next webinar and what is it about? Great question. We're always up to date on our newsletters. Sign up if you want to get up-to-date information, as well as our website. Teenwork will be hosting many new webinars as well. So refer back to our website. I'll put the slide up with our information now for up-to-date information about that. And then Alexander, very last question or kind of comment here for you is thank you from the heart. Wonderful to hear and see what years of support from everyone, starting with mom and dad who teach Just Ask. You're a true example of the value of encouragement, goal setting, and advocacy forever.
Thank you very much. And thank you everyone for asking questions and being here until the very end. Thank you so much.
Yes, and on behalf of CBI Consultants, we want to thank you so much, Alexander, for giving this amazing webinar about advocacy. And if anyone has additional questions, please feel free to reach out to us. Email's right there, info@cbiconsultants.com. And I hope you guys all have a fantastic weekend and stay safe. Thank you so much.